next 5 on the schedule, in order, are Rams, Titans, Jaguars, Packers, and Browns. And after that are the Bengals, Cardinals, Patriots, Colts, and the Bengals again. Don't make me say it. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Players aren't allowed to say it. Coaches won't allow them to say it. I'm just a reporter. I'm nobody. And I can say it. The schedule lightens up over these next 10 games. Don't misinterpret that. That doesn't mean that the Steelers are better than any or all of these teams. They might be the worst out of all of these teams. That doesn't alter the fact, and I do mean fact, that the schedule is lighter. That's only part of the reason, though, that I think everything's about to get a little bit better after the bye. The number one reason is health, because it's hard to imagine the health of this team being in a whole lot worse shape than where it's been over the last 2-3 weeks. It's easy to forget because we get locked in on Sunday to Sunday and really specific analysis of specific situations. But you've got a first-year, full-year starter at quarterback who's dropping back to pass without his top 2 possession options in Deontay Johnson and Pat Freiermuth. They're both going to be back for the game that's coming up next weekend in Los Angeles. Anthony McFarland is also expected to be back. I can't underscore this enough. This dude was supposed to be a big part of this offense. If you're thinking of him with the way he was utilized in 2021 or 2022, that's outdated. The playbook was rewritten for his number to be called a lot more often from a lot of different formations that were supposed to have different impacts on the other team's outlook and make your offense a lot less predictable than it's been. And in the case of Deontay, who do you replace him with? Calvin Austin can do some things. He's not Deontay when it comes to getting open. Freiermuth, who do you replace him with? You can say Darnell Washington, but Darnell's still not 100% himself. And you can say where McFarland's concerned that, well, he wasn't really, anything meaningful last year. That was supposed to change. So these are 3 big pieces that we're missing. On defense, if Cam Hayward is the only guy that you're missing, it throws everything off. Because as we've seen, without Cam there really isn't much in the way of even a multiple person solution for stopping the run. Now, go right ahead and find some wood to knock on or whatever else you think might work. But some important players did make it this far healthy. And that's always worth appreciating. But this team got its bye week that they're all enjoying right now, either on vacation, at home, or whatever it is, at the perfect time. Trust me on that. It's a perfect time based on everything I'm hearing from those guys. Beyond that, man, I hope everybody's gotten to see at least some of what the 49ers have done since doing what they did here in Pittsburgh. Because this wasn't exactly an exception. They're really, really, really good at everything. There's no team like that left on the schedule. You can even go back to the following week, back to the game against the Browns, and remember that Cleveland still had Nick Chubb and that Chubb was running all over them. For that matter, they still had Deshaun Watson, they still had David Njoku, and they looked like they were going to be at least a decent team, certainly one with a really good defense. The Steelers came out of that with a W. The next time the Steelers face the Browns, they're not going to be what they were at the beginning of that game. So the schedule, yes, lightens up. It's okay for me to say it. It's not okay for them to say it, and it's definitely not okay for them to take anybody lightly. They're nowhere near good enough to do that. But I believe that as this team piles up some sort of positive results beyond, just winning 3 games out of 5, when they start piling up some performances that look like consistent offense, consistent defense, I think you're going to see some of that confidence and some of that swagger, which was deserved, which was earned, which was real from training camp and from the preseason. I think you're going to see some of that snowball. I really do. I'm not being Pollyanna here. I'm not being hopeful or wishful. I really think this is going to happen. Do I think they're going to run the table? Do I think they're going to be great? Heck no. But it's entirely possible that they just got through the hardest part of their schedule and through the hardest challenges personnel-wise that they're going to have to encounter. When we come back, J1Q. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. LGKG is a personal injury law firm in Western Pennsylvania that represents people hurt in car accidents or who need help with workers' comp or medical malpractice. When the attorneys at LGKG make you a promise, they keep it. They've been keeping promises in our region for over 80 years. LGKG's been AV rated, the highest rating a law firm can receive, and they've been designated super lawyers. That's actually a thing for over 15 years. It's a rare combination. LGKG has offices in Cranberry, Newcastle, Beaver Falls, Butler, and Elwood City. Learn more about them by visiting lgkg.com or by calling 888-842-5454. LGKG. Today's J1Q comes from Pev, who says, DK, I'm usually not a fan of early bye weeks, but it sure seems like an early bye this season is actually very helpful. I'm sure opinions vary, but what seems to be the general feeling for bye week preference amongst players and coaches in terms of when it's actually scheduled? Most players, believe it or not, Pev, will tell you they like it right around now. Versus when I think it might be, more sensible or logical from an outside perspective, including my own, to see the schedule and say, we'll just put it right in the middle somewhere. That's not how the athletes look at this. And I'm not just saying this because of what I'd mentioned in the opening segment about the Steelers being happy that the bye week is now because of all their injuries. They will tell you that they view the season as a cumulative beginning with the first day in Latrobe. We don't. I don't do that. You don't do that. Okay? We see it as starting with San Francisco. For them, it starts with those length of the field sprints on the first day in Latrobe. And then the 90-degree long afternoons that they spend on Chuck Noll Field. All of that kind of morphs into moving to the south side and then the preseason games and making sure that they hold up stamina-wise and avoid injuries through those games. And by the time the 49ers came around, there's almost a sense of relief that that part is over with. That's why you will see some teams, this isn't what happened to the Steelers, but you will see some teams have a letdown. Steelers didn't have a letdown. They just got massacred by a better team. So by the time you get through 5 weeks of regular season, and in the Steelers' case, pretty good amount of travel, Las Vegas, Houston, this is when they'll tell you they like it. This is a good reset point. They're able to kick back. Maybe they'll watch the games this weekend. Maybe they'll just, chill. Maybe they'll go jet skiing. Who the heck knows what they're going to do? But what they won't be doing is playing a football game or practicing football. And that's why I had said earlier in the week that I really like that Mike Tomlin gave them Wednesday off. they were supposed to practice 2 days this past week, Tuesday and Wednesday. And after Tuesday, he told them, I'll see you next week. That's rewarding a good effort. Wasn't pretty, but the effort was there against the Ravens, and so was the result. But yeah, I've had several players tell me this, and they all have the same tune on this subject, and it surprises me every time, because you'd think it would just be right in the middle, like kind of like Major League Baseball's All-Star break. It just pops right in there, almost right at the 80-game mark, and this isn't anything like that, but they love it. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everyone listening to Daily Shot of Steelers. Have a fun bye weekend. Listen, watch the games totally stress-free. It's cool, you know?